Hello everyone, it's Sloth here, and today we are continuing the theme of extra cool creatures hitting our opponent's face, this time in Golgari version, but mid-range. So, we went with Gitrog, the Ravenous, extremely well-statted trample haster that can also sacrifice a creature to draw you cards. And with things like Goldvein Hydra, this becomes better, because if you sacrifice this, I want you to imagine, alright, Gitrog being saddled by the Hydra, alright? This is golden. And what is also golden? The treasures you are getting after you sacrifice it. They come tapped, so you need to wait one turn, but then you can get all the new cards and you have mana to fuel it, or just use a mana sink like a sleeper, because we included it just for this reason. So on top of this, we have extremely good cards at every single step of the game, which makes it that we outvalue our opponents just by sheer power of our cards. And yeah, I think you will enjoy it. So be sure to subscribe before the next set hits and we'll make all the cool brews, and enjoy the show. But let's see, with Path of Prayer and Bat, I hope we can get there. That was a very quick call. I'll be honest. Let's go with the sleeper. So that's an interesting one. Is that Orzhov? Are you an Orzhov deck? Or Golgari with duress? Alright, I'll take it. I'll take it. I think we just go sleeper spam right now, because it feels like a, some removal. Let's pump for one. I think this will go for the throated, but let's see. Yep, here it comes, and then we just go another sleeper. So they lost the best card for the matchup, and they answered our one drop. It's okay. It's good for them. It's good for me. It's what it had to be. But now they need more, and that might be where the problems start. Alright, very good for them, for future. There's no point in batting, because they can get basically a tutor right now. So I think we just try to go for what? Let's go for the warrior, maybe. We got the map token for the next turn, so they need to answer this, they need to hit removal, and even though they can hit removal with this, it's not perfect. Like, they invested 2 cards and 5 mana into finding a go for the throat. They also have only black payment, so this will deal some damage. Still, I don't want them to find removal. If we can get few hits with Sentinel and Sleeper, that would be absolutely perfect. Alright, alright. What is this? They didn't cast it, so it means they have what they want. I will go with the bat and see what's going on there. They know about the bat, by the way. So, show me. That will give us full information to make this turn. Alright. Deadly cover-up, potential guaranteed on the next turn. With this, they will always find the last land. And if we don't... Okay. I think we will have to double bat this turn. We have to go for the throat right now. But the next turn they can go for the... This is a really nice setup for them. They have basically all the answers. They cannot play Path of Prayer, but they will find the land they are missing. So this one has to be go for the throat, I guess. And then we need to hit again. Then we force them to remove all the 1 and 2 drops with Path of Peril on the next turn, which will cost them the turn. And then we go with the Sentinel again, and potentially Kaervek. And I have to do this, otherwise they are going with Deadly Cover-Up, and they will remove everything. Alright, it's unfortunate that they had too many things, and that we cannot counter fully. Yep, they will go with Mirrex at dance step, no reason not to. And I mean, we will get some damage, but we are losing a lot of value, which is not great. They might also top deck just their land, but if they want, they will just use the Pillage the Bog, and they will hit it anyway. Which is better, because that wastes their full tutor, basically. Theoretically, they could miss black mana, alright? It has been done before. And I've seen draws of 6 lands in a row, so... 8 non-lands in a row is also possible, but realistically they will always hit it. They have to hit it. There is a chance they only got offered a tap land, and that will prevent, the big play. They need double black for this Path of Pearl. If they cannot cast it on this turn, I think they will lose. Like, they need it now. Especially that we can buff the Sentinel, right, with the map tokens. So if they remove all of the creatures except Sentinel, this still hits them for 5 twice. And with the bats and this is exactly 13 damage. So then they need 2 life gain on top of everything. I think they didn't hit a land, or didn't hit a land that can be untapped for black mana. Or, okay, this seems to be a preparation for Sweeper. Still, I'll take it. 1 damage doesn't matter. Like, the game will end when we lose the cards, so we don't need to risk any kind of blocks here. Here you go, my friend. Here you go. But usually the land into Sweeper follows. However, our opponent is thinking for a very long time. So that would suggest he didn't hit the play, right? Because that is a very obvious play. Okay, I guess they just like thinking for a very long time about the play they have to make anyway. Like, there were no other choices, you just play this. Right, cool. They cannot play this at least, so there's that. We definitely play this. Maybe we could go with the Mirrex. Well, not really, right? We have to go for maximum damage here. Or we can go for Mirrex and force another reaction and use the map token on Mirrex. You know what? I kinda like this plan because we are not killing him right now. We need something more. And that provides a constant pressure that may be enough to, you know, get them to concede. Because right now they need to hit a lot of stuff. I would love to have some targeting so I can start playing Kaervek, but maybe we just play it on some of the turns when he doesn't have Go for the Throat and try to get as many bats back from the graveyard as possible. Right, it's just a black card. Yep, it doesn't have to be instant or sorcery. Why are you... Okay, right, evidence. Alright, I wonder what they will take. I would guess the bat, right? I think it's bat. Maybe they take... No, they cannot take Sheoldred. Virtue. So they decided they cannot handle the Virtue. That's fine. I don't think we mind. They are also fully tapped, so we get some nice hits right now. And Kaervek is safe in the hand. Potentially with some extra lands. Yep, we don't play too many of them. Let's go into the end step. I guess the cut down into open land is not possible, but still. And we don't play this to not show our opponent what did we draw. Alright, I guess it's a Mirrex time. They will have the cottage, so this is the... Oh man, this is so slow. I mean, it is... I don't think it's good enough. We need something stronger. And we have 3 mana for the Mirrex, right? That's good. That's what we need, because then we can kill the cottage. So that's the first 3 damage. You know, we are getting there, but you can see that if we're having a little bit stronger opening against what he had, then we would get this 5 damage. Right now we need to a little bit work for it. They can go for a cottage right now, knowing that the next draw is Go for the Throat, but we'll see. Because then they can use map food token and go to 8, which is actually a big deal. Now they know. They absolutely know. We cannot play Kaervek into this. I think that's something they care about. So is that Phyrexian? No, this has to be Phyrexian. Because we want to be able to play Glissa. And, you know, sure that is easy, but probably Glissa. Yeah, I think that's the other one would be Gitrog, but we have less Gitrogs than Glissa, and we didn't draw a single one. That means that the chance is like twice as much. Alright, and let's attack. I think our opponent is hoping for our blunder, and I don't think we'll make it. They have only 2 cards. It's very hard, and one of them doesn't work against what we have. So they cannot activate the cottage, and that means they probably cannot deal with this. That was the idea behind the whole Mirrex plan, especially with the map tokens. If we are to win with poison, yeah, they know they cannot use it. If we are to win with poison, it would be extremely slow. But with this, it's way better. Our opponent really likes tanking on those 1-2 cards. Like, I can tell you blindly that probably there's nothing he can do about this. And we don't play Kaervek into his Go for the Throat. because he doesn't have good targets right now. It's a dead card as long as we don't play this. So I will play it when I know that I can get some value from it. Robbery. Stealing our stuff. Alright, alright. A very good play for our opponent. Sure. Go for it, my champion. This might get them out of the trouble, but they need to defend against 3 creatures, and they know we have 1 go for the throw. So I think the mana will be so limited. So unless they hit like triple 1-drop or something, I'm not sure if that's enough. Tapland is extremely good for us. That means they didn't increase their mana for the most important turn of the game. And the mana is limiting factor. Sheoldred, knowing that we have a removal. Only 3 mana left. I think they are dead. Oh, okay, with this there is a chance. There is a chance. We will definitely use Mirrex right now. We need as many creatures attacking as possible. I don't think it's enough. I think they are out. On 2 mana, I don't play cutdowns in this deck, so that means they couldn't steal it. They might play 1 from their deck, but that means the second mana doesn't get used. It can be used for the pump only. Man, I feel that I'm being tricked, but I have no idea how I can be tricked. I don't play protection spells. I mean, let's go, show me. If I'm wrong, I want to see how. Yep, they're still in the game, so it suggests they have a way, but I don't think they have. Well, I should think about the Hydra. Listen, I'm just attacking you with my 3 tokens. I think he might remove 1 of them at most, but that's it. Now he's dead. Okay. All of them are resistant to go for the throat. He has the removal, but it doesn't work on our creatures. Alright. 1 damage, and this is why it was so important to make this 1 last token. On 2 mana, they cannot make enough removal. Man, this was close, and stealing my cards really put me, you know, in the situation of, oh my god, did I run something that can help him win the game? Alright, a little bit scary hand, because our mana base is super wonky, but I think we can go with Glissa, then we can go Sheoldred that doesn't require green, and, you know, try to go from there. Let's try to protect Glissa. We really need her, you know, do some work. I think it has to be long goodbye, right? Yeah, because we can remove their Glissa with our Virtue. It's honestly not a hard choice. This is the only hit that we can, you know, reliably make right now. But we need to be persistent with our game plan. Alright, they went for the card. They think they have time. Honestly, I will go with Glissa on this turn. It's really, really important. Let's hope that they aren't very good at magic and they didn't top deck a removal. If they did, our whole plan fizzles. If they don't, our whole plan works. So as you can see, a lot of spectrum here. Alright, as expected, they are going Glissa. That's nice. And that means extra cards that we absolutely desperately need. I hope the tap was right. Yep, Chorus mana. Because now we want to draw a forest. This is the next part of our plan. We need to be good at magic? No, not good enough. Alright, alright, we can take this 1 hit. So far it's still going decent. But definitely, if we could play a land, like a green one, or even a black one, we could bat and make sure that they don't have any means to remove Glissa. Right now, you know, we lost part of the control of the game. A tap land is super nice for us. Okay, that's really good. Alright, 1 damage is fine. You know what? I'll take it. This is a good one. Do I want to discard a card to keep up the tempo? Will they block? They are stalling for time. I don't want to discard cards. I think we just swing all. And see what happens. They cannot block. Oh, they're actually going for it. Sure. Alright, let's draw a card. I think they might try to race us, but I don't think it will work. They're at 11. Alright, so now, let's go for the bat. I really want to check their hand. It's not yet the time for Shelly. Alright, so their plan was to play Aklazot on the next turn. Let's get rid of this plan. We don't need green right now. What do we want? I don't want to give up that I have shorted, so I think I will just go with something else. Let's go for a frog, in case we top deck one. Yeah, sure. This suggests we have Gitrog for the next turn. And did I play something? Yeah, we played the bat, so that's fine. I don't want this to flip. So we know they're at the mercy of single top deck, or they just go for the Dread Knight, which we can remove if we want. They can activate the cottage as well. Okay, they cannot anymore. I might discard the card at the end step, just to get better, you know, deal. We have them on the ropes a little bit right now. They want to draw cards, but if we play Sheoldred, it will be extremely punishing for them. This kinda forces them to use the drawing ability, which will cost them 3 life. And we don't need to discard a card, which is fine. So I think it should be a good play. I don't care about my life, so I don't want to give them full information. Let's attack first and see what happens. If they have removal, they will probably play it on Glissa right now. Alright, good. Drawing cards. Always nice thing to do. Alright. Not the best draw ever, but we'll take it. And now, with this play, we force our opponent to draw 2 cards with removal. Because Glissa suddenly isn't his biggest problem anymore. Yep. Here's the damage. And there are no creatures in the graveyard, so the Trespasser cannot, life gain at all. Alright, he's starting the chain. He was a good player. He is good at magic, and he top deck removal, but it's not good against Sheoldred, and this is what we mentioned, right? If we can go with Sheoldred, suddenly he has 2 problems and they need different answers. He can kill Glissa, but not Shelly. And I think he's too short on the mana to survive. I think that's it. Oh, he's really good at magic, and he top decked this as well. Well, that's impressive. That's impressive, and he still lost, man. 2 removal top decks in like 3 cards, and that still wasn't enough. Oh man, but that game was extremely close, I'll be honest. 1 different draw and he could be ahead. I'll be honest, this hand is extremely low on value. We have 1 land too much and 1 creature too less. So it's a little bit scary. We also really wanted the 2-drop like a bat or a snake, but I think we can work with it. Hopefully we'll have a target for removal. Alright, now we are 2 lands too many. And 2 creatures too short, so the draw is definitely not going in the right direction right now. Hopefully we get something nice. Main phase reinforcements. As we all know, that's how you play Magic and Boros. Makes absolutely 0 sense, but I think we want to keep up the tempo. The removal would get the better target later, but we just don't have this luxury right now. I think it's Preacher, right? Because on the next turn we can go with Sentinel and use map token immediately. So this might go around stuff. I wanted to remove this because first it gives you the Convoke fuel. Second, it gives the Case fuel. And with 1... Okay. Brutal Qatar. That's very good for them. That's very good for them. So it seems to not be Boros. It's actually humans, I think. Alright, so on this turn we are going with the Sentinel. I would love to get the bat with the map token, but we can do it later. And we can guarantee that our draw is a little bit better. So suddenly Sentinel becomes a good 4-drop. Alright, it lets them prepare for the bat, but we can double bat them. And I think that's pretty good. We need to be aware about the Qatar cycle. Yeah, we'll see, we'll see. I expected Boros, to be absolutely honest, so I was playing a little bit differently. This feels like a Gandro, right? And it hits perfectly, so maybe our opponent is bluffing, but if that's the case, that was a very good bluff. I don't think they bluffed, I think they actually have a Gandro. As you can see, they are keeping this 3 mana, alright. Better, better, and that means now we can start attacking. Alright, very scary stuff. Very scary stuff. They want to unleash all the cards. Alright. Man, they're really aggressive here. So they want to actually erase us super quickly. So I can go for the Archfiend. or try to go with the bats. I need to play 2 bats at once. So they will take the damage, we get the map token, then we can pump the bat. I guess we can block this, they might not attack. This is a lot of damage. If I play the Archfiend, it's more damage faster, right? And it's hard to block. They basically need another Brutal Catar. You know what, I think this one is a little bit better. Unfortunately they know about the bat. That was something I was really hesitant about taking this bat, because I already had this strategy and my opponent wouldn't know about it. With showing him this one, he prepared for this one, for, you know, not knowing about the second one that was the real target. So we kinda lost the value, you know, in a weird way. Alright, and I think we use the map token here still. We could go for the bat for later, but this guarantees a better draw potentially. Oh man, you know what, I think we take it. I think we actually take it. Because this makes it super hard for him to attack. He needs Brutal Catar or some removal, otherwise I think he will lose. Especially that it has flying, right? It will be very hard for them to pump Warden in time for like a 6-7 or something. They might go into the nighttime doing nothing using Mirrex and then double spell on the next turn. I think that could be a good play. Potentially winning them the game. Yeah, they cannot... Oh man, they're actually attacking. I want them to cast spells. So, I guess we're doing it like this, right? They want to kill the Archfiend. We assume that they have this Egandra. No legendary creatures, so this will tap them for 3. Kill Archfiend probably. And then use 2 to cast the backside of the Veteran. I honestly don't mind it. Also, it means they don't use the cards from the hand. I mean, one of the cards at least. Here it is. See? Told you. I thought they aren't bluffing, but they will still get all the extra damage. And that's a big deal, because we are racing right now, and they still lost a lot of cards for this trade. Alright, do we go Archfiend or we try to hit the last card and force them to pure top deck? I can attack first. So, okay, I like it. Because if we played Archfiend first, their charm block would be more painful, but we get a better value while checking the bat. I think the card was dead, but I wanted to check it anyway. As you can see, we can just outpower them. Alright, our opponent goes first. Not great for us, not great for us. We definitely don't want to waste our 3-drop. So I will risk that we are skipping 2-drop and we are going directly into 3-drop. We use this 1 mana to pump the Sleeper. So it's actually not instant punish with a 2-drop. Alright. If we assume that we'll top deck a land, it probably won't happen, right? So we cannot cast Bronco. I think we are going with the original plan. Alright, it feels they have a Helix potentially. I'm not super sure, but let's go. This might trigger the removal, but it doesn't. Alright, I'll take it. This kinda means they didn't really do much on this turn. It could be Resolve Reinforcements, of course, assuming that... imagine assuming that someone in Standard isn't playing Mono Red or Boros. Alright, case. Alright, so far pretty perfect response from our opponent, but I think we can handle it. We have a lot of strong cards that are pretty good at punishing this kind of stuff. I will go with the Preacher because I know if I play Glissa, they will just play 1-drop into another case. It's super improbable, it should not happen, but it always happens when I assume it doesn't, so I'm going with the Preacher just because of this. Alright, like, it's alternating my plays, but honestly, the normal good play would be to play Glissa, because there's no way they have another case. So, what is this weird attack? Alright. I assume they will kill Preacher somehow. They're already extremely warm and fuzzy after clicking this block. You can see the excitement on the other side. So it couldn't be a Ganja, because it's not in time. I assume this is another case. They need to play 1-drop? No, I don't know, show me. What is the card? Helix? Okay, but that taps them fully for this turn, and we still trade 1 for 1. This was actually a very good trade for us. That also means we can start interrupting them. So let's get this and see what the hand is so I can find. See, I told you they will have another one. Every time they shouldn't, they just do it. So if I... Okay, so if I don't get this, they go Helix. Whatever I do, it doesn't matter, as usually. So... Case is actually better for them, right? But they will cast it later anyway. I think I want the Helix gone. Very unlucky, especially that, man, like they should not have this kind of removal so early. But I told you, they will. They shouldn't, but they will. Every single time. We're just 11 cards, and man, imagine conceding with this hand. Alright, I think we cannot take this hand, it's too slow. And this one, a little bit sketchy, but we have something to work with, you know? Do we go double sleeper? They're kinda okay, especially on the low mana. We won't have too much black, so we will have to pain ourselves a little bit. I could go one sleeper, but that probably means... Yeah, I think we go like this. Archfiend is very late game, and I don't think we can afford it. So Mirrex is a one-time black mana. Wastes produces black mana every single turn. So we want this first, so we get more black mana on average. Like, we need to be really aggressive because our draw is not perfect. Okay, no priority, that's important. That means we can pump it. You know, that's always some nice extra damage. We need to be really aggressive. Glissa is basically our endgame. And we are good at magic. The mono-red player got what they were always giving our, you know, others. Big mana screwed, and you lost because you were on the draw. Alright, I hope you enjoyed all the early game scoops from the mono-red and Boros players, and let's talk about the deck a little bit, because this one is interesting. This deck has been around for a very long time, and honestly it's one of my favorite decks all around. I really like Golgari, I want it to be meta forever, and I think that mid-range meta is the healthiest one, because just, you know, it gives time for every other deck to play their game plan, which is enjoyable for everyone. So what about this one? First, let's talk about the Hydra, because this is something I've been trying multiple times. I actually tried this card in one of the first decks of the set, because I felt that it's perfect match. However, I have to say that I'm a little bit disappointed in our very goldy Hydra. It seems that very often it doesn't die. It's always a little bit lackluster in the stats, because you basically get 1 mana attacks on the stats. Trample Haste is amazing, especially with the Vigilance, so we can threaten, you know, planeswalkers, deal some extra damage, and with the mana sinks like Sleeper and potentially the Gitrog, because it can draw a lot of cards. You have also Bronco and Sentinel, so they are the ways that you can use extra mana, or even just go full Cottage. If you draw 2 mana, like 3 of them, you can actually use the treasures to fuel 3 of them in one turn, and that's no joke, because that's 12 extra damage on top of your board. So there is potential, but very often it just doesn't die, and the game basically ends before this ever dies. That's my experience, and when I play control decks, I also never kill this Hydra in time. So usually you don't really get the value. You can force the value with Gitrog, and I think that's the best deal, but very often you don't want to tap it, because you kinda lose the damage, right? If you sacrifice something to Gitrog, you probably want something without the haste, because that kinda gives you free value. You sacrifice a creature, but you get more creatures. But if you are racing some other deck, for example a mono-red Boros, or, you know, some white humans, if you actually use this to saddle, you are losing damage, and this might be potentially the game-winning damage. And the treasures come tapped, which, no, I guess it makes sense, but it also makes it that you need to survive next turn, and because your creatures do not have summoning they have summoning sickness, sorry, it also gives your opponent extra turn to prepare, so you are getting huge value, but it's very slow value, and there, with so quick meta in standard, it's very hard to use it. I actually had troubles using the Hydra to full extent, so I was thinking if that should be Hydra or maybe more 3-drops, because honestly for Golgari 3-drops are absolutely amazing. And honestly, that was one of the biggest problems for me in the deck, which 3-drops to take, because there are so many great ones. Like, you know, Lord Skitter, Preacher, Kaervek, Sentinel. Glissa is something I think we need 4 of, even though it's a legendary creature. As long as you have 1 in the board, you completely terrorize the board. And the rest of the, like the Sentinel gives you so much of everything. It can increase the stats for any creature, so it really helps trading efficiently against what opponent has. Vigilance helps you pressure your opponent for lethal, while you can defend at the same time. It's actually a super important stuff, because very often you are in racing and you cannot really attack with anything if that means you will die. With Vigilance you can attack and prepare for lethal, forcing them to chump block in the last turn. That means you can go all in and they need to basically chump block and lose the value on the board, which means they cannot go for the counter lethal. So the Vigilance is actually extremely important right now. With that all being said, what about the results? I'm unfortunately, you know, have to say that I didn't find it too, you know, competitive enough. I actually went on the losing record, and I'm honestly not sure if those were bad draws. Possibly yes, because if you have good draws and you hit removal at, you know, points that you need, you can absolutely beat all the decks, you know, the red decks, Boros decks, all this kind of stuff. But it gets hard sometimes, especially if you miss your curve. And I found that hitting curve perfectly is the most important thing you can do with this deck. If you miss and your opponent doesn't, you are extremely behind. And you know, that's the charm of mid-range decks. So yeah. Fair warning about this one, but keep in mind that this is fully rotation proof and we are playing against non-rotation proof decks on the ladder. I really like Golgari, so I hope it gets better for our cool Black Frogs and cool Archfiend. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching until the end. You're absolutely awesome and I couldn't thank you enough. And see you guys tomorrow. With